Hello, this is Steve Melendrez doing another watercolor demo. I'm going to be working on the different little areas here. So right now I'm just adding some yellow ochre. Now this might require a few layers. And I'm going to pull out the color at the tip, slide it down. I'm going to come back to this in a bit after it dries a bit, but I'm going to put on another spot. Okay, so I'm going to go right in here. Now this is a watercolor pencil, so it should disappear eventually. So I'm going to come in here. And I'm going to put a couple of layers in here, let that dry. I'm going to go in with a little Payne's gray for the shadow underneath. And I'm going for this effect right in here. So I'm going to let that dry. And I'm going to go into the angelfish. Now, I'm going to pull some of that color out. It kind of just faded on me. Now I might have to spruce it up with a little white. That's okay. I'm going to come into the face a little bit more. And I'm going to pull out some color, but it might require a little white. Leaving a shadow underneath here is fine. So this will be just some parts. Okay, so now I'm going to come in with a smaller brush. Or I should say one with a sharper point. And this is a Payne's gray. And that's just to tighten up some little areas. And this is kind of the way I work. I'll kind of work on one little spot when I need it to dry, and then go into the next area and work on that. Now, right now, these colors are a little muted, and that's because this one's a little bit of a distance. And I'm going to go into that yellow just a bit and punch it up. And go over it with just a little bit of white. Okay, so I'm just bringing it out slowly. some of that little blue in there is not going to affect now when I go into the yellow with the white, it should pop it out a little bit more. Hopefully you can see that it's just a subtle thing, but it's a combination of a lot of subtle things that help the illusion in the painting. Okay, so you can tell it looks a little bit brighter. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the one down below. And this type of coral has like a ring around the bottom. And I'm just going to slowly pull out the color. Now this is a larger piece than I normally work in, another one of those twice as big. So this is going to take me a lot longer. So I'm not going to, you know, show the whole thing done in 20 minutes or a half hour. But I could show you how I'm working in one little section, and probably the next time I show this again, it will be 70% finished. Now I want to pull out the color, so I'm going to do that from the center. Now I'm going to go back in there and kind of enhance a little few things. Same thing with this one, maybe a little bit darker. I'm going to break up that edge too on the coral. So this is like a shadow underneath, just like these. And you can see I broke up the edge here. Nature is random, and sometimes that helps with the illusion. I'm going to blend it right into the coral underneath. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to come in. Okay, so now that yellow ochre sea anemone is dry, I think. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to leave some highlights on both sides and then fade it out. And I'll probably come in here a little bit darker towards the and blend it out. Now, these will all change up some. And you can see that little bit of a line helps to define. And just that little bit makes all the difference. It adds definition to what would be something that was overlooked. And sometimes you can control it really well. And what could happen also, so when it dries, then you can go back into it and do some 2 or 3 minutes, because it's a little bit over time right now. So you can see these kind of are kind of what that's going to look like. So what I'm doing is I'm coming in to the color. Now, some people will just go to straight to the color. So people would use that green and just pop it in there, and that may work for a lot of people. But this is the technique I use. So when I'm using water and I'm pulling out the color, which means it's going to be more vibrant when I put the color in there. It won't blend in or the background have an effect on the painting. But also when I'm using water, I am making the background just like this down here. So, oh, that might be too much paint. Accepting the color, and just has a slight little bleed. You may not be able to see it right now, but it's kind of there. So the colors, what I'm going now is, it'll have a different effect because of the colors on its surrounding area. Some will be a little bit more light, more intense. Anyway, so that's kind of another direction. And let me see if I can get in closer. So you can see now when I'm saying this is detail, there's a little clownfish that might be going into this. This is like you're looking at it from 3 inches away. So if you stand at maybe 1 or 2 feet, it'll all blend in. Anyway, so I'm going to stop this because I'm way over time. Hello, I'm Steve Melendrez, a model maker, illustrator, scientific illustrator, sculptor, design natural history museum in Los Angeles. Done a lot of different things, but I'm going to be doing watercolor demonstrations of the techniques I've developed over the years. And it's going to go from a lot of different directions. And also I'm going to be doing videos, I call them video posters for my daughter. So a lot of stuff that I can leave to my daughter about her crazy dad. So I'm taking a lot of different directions, but mainly 3. So anyway, that's my introduction that I'm going to attach to everything I'm doing now, so I don't have to repeat this. Be careful out there.